It just turns off a 4.
What's going on, you guys? This is Kyle, other known as Blaster Joker, coming at you with a first place locals deck profile here at Skyfox Games. A couple of days ago, we just wrapped up a locals tournament, and we just came up with a winner playing a interesting deck. So here again, who is not playing Nurse Burn, we got Mr. Javier Hernandez. How you doing again, by the way?
Hey everybody. No, I'm doing pretty well. To be honest, I decided to play this kind of janky deck just because, to be honest, I'm just waiting until Savage strikes so I can play Pendulum Magicians.
Don't worry about it, it's okay.
And when the Guard Dragons come out, Guard Dragon Pendulums are actually going to be a really cool deck where you can make up to 4 to 5 negates on your first turn if you play everything right. So,
alright, cool.
Let's get into the deck profile.
Yeah, so I just gotta ask before we get down to it, what are you playing?
I am playing Arcana Force 21 the World Lock with Dangers.
So, why?
Pretty much, I'm known for Arcana Force back in my hometown, actually, for playing it in Pendulum Magicians, for summoning it off of Summon Sork and then bouncing it back with Firewall, but he's banned, so I needed to find a new way to be able to actually play that version of the deck.
Yeah.
But this time it's not with Pendulums. This time it's with the most degenerate cards that came out of Cybernetic Horizon, and that is Dangers.
Hey, don't forget Soul Fusion, because
that is true,
yeah.
For some Snake.
Alright, cool, let's get on to that deck profile.
Alrighty, let's start, shall we? Alright, the main deck.
As we can already see, there's
As you can see,
Bigfoot.
the very shiny cards.
Yeah.
We play, first I'm going to start with the 1-ofs. We start with Bigfoot and Thunderbird. Pretty much they're just spot removal. The Thunderbird's mostly meant for Sky Striker and Ultrageist, and Bigfoot's just for any problematic boss monster on the field, to be honest. Like, one funny thing I played against Sky Striker was they had, what was it? Yeah, they had the Hayate on field because they ran out of all Kagaris, and I just pitched Bigfoot and popped their Hayate, and then they brought Ray out, of course, but then it caused Ray to not have any more targets in the extra deck, which meant like his back row and Widow Anchors couldn't be used. So that was actually quite fun. So yeah. Next, we play the Stratos of the deck, 3 Danger Nessie. That's pretty much it. It's also a level 7, which is actually really good for making Tomahawk in the extra deck. And also just having an extra monster on the field that's dark. Like, literally this entire deck is dark, so you play Allure, Darkness, and Beginning of the Ends.
Neat.
In Montreal Regionals, I played 2 of this card, but because I let a friend borrow it, which is Kyle, behind the camera. So basically the card I played is, I'm playing 3 Dangerous Tsuchinoko. Snack for the memes, I guess.
That's a nice noodle.
It is, but the reason I played 2 at the Montreal Regionals was more because I didn't want to brick with this card, because I noticed when they do discard it and it specials itself, I don't want to have to run the risk of having multiple copies in my hand just for it to get discarded again and not be able to get its effect. And it's also a rank 3 or level 3, so then I can make Leviar and summon things from the Banner Stone.
Yeah.
And then the next level 3 we have are 3 Danger Jackalopes.
That's a big glare. I'm sorry for you guys, by the way.
No worries. Pretty much the same thing. He's, to be honest, that extra dark target that you need for, what is it, for Levier and also Beginning of the End, just because level 3 and also dark, but also when it's sent to the graveyard, specials 1 from deck. I'm sure you'll know that by now. Next, we play 3 Danger Chupacabra. This one, kind of same story, but basically what happens is when this is discarded, it's specials 1 from the graveyard, so it really helps with pushing turn 2 when you get off the Arcana deck, the Arcana combo. And also one thing I like is because it's level 4 with this itself or Mothman that we play in the deck, we can make Nyarla, which then goes into Azathoth. And Azathoth actually won me a lot of games because locking out my opponent's monster effects was actually quite funny, because I was able to pull off the combo at Montreal Regionals. Basically, I got Ashed first for my Jackalope, and then I made Azathoth. Then I went into Saryuja, I got Impermanenced, couldn't activate that Saryuja. Went into a second Saryuja, got Impermanenced again. But the great thing is, he had Multi-Faker in his hand, and because of Azathoth, he could not summon the Multi-Faker, or the Gamma that he had.
Just oof. Basically.
So luckily I was actually able, with the amount of draw power, I was still able to make a 3rd Saryuja and then still make the world and like keep going. So this deck is highly consistent. Next card. This card I cut down to 2. At first I was playing 3, but I noticed I bricked with it too much and it was starting to get discarded from my hand by my opponent.
Yeah.
Is 2 Danger Dogman. Again, Level 7 makes Tomahawk again. Dark. Great thing about this is sometimes for the turn 2, when you skip their turn, is when you give them Grinder Golem and you discard this card with an effect, it'll make the Grinder Golem 2000, which it makes it way easier to run over instead of its normal 3. Next, we have 3 Danger Mothman. Someone get a lamp.
Someone find an ancient lamp.
To be honest, this is basically my pseudo Dark World dealings and my level 4 monster, just so I can draw a card and discard a card, and just so I can activate more effects. It's just more digging through the deck at that point, and it's a level 4 for making Azathoth. Now a couple 1-ofs. Well, I guess first let me get to the 3-of first. Play 3 Brow Huntsman of Dark World.
This is just to dig your deck, right?
This is literally to dig your deck, and it's a mandatory draw 1, which is great because it forces this to be Chainlink 1 most of the time, and they can't really ash this, especially when you chain block it. So I like drawing extra cards, especially when you summon the danger card, draw for that effect, and then you get the brow effect to then draw an extra card. So it just helps you dig back into your deck. And sorry for the rarity discrimination, I just need to find one more ultimate rare.
Yeah, I see alties and then a secret.
Yeah, here are my 1-ofs. I play 1 Grinder Golem, 1 Zephyros the Elite, 1 Shadal Beast, and my Dr. Frankenderp.
So, I'm seeing this new now in a lot of danger decks.
Yeah.
Usually because of the FTK. Why Frankenderp?
The reason I play Frankenderp is because it's a psychic monster and dark, so when you activate it, or when you draw Emergency Teleport, it's a free summon without having to waste your normal. And for that, it chains very well with Grinder Golem, so when you have Emergency Teleport, you can special the Dr. Frankenderp, pay 500, draw your card, and then give them the Grinder Golem. So for any decks that play Impermanence or Sky Strikers going second, you give them the monster, and then you could get 2 tokens to then make, Spider, Karibo, and then Akashic to then bounce it back. Basically, Grinder Golem and Frankenderp together equal Saryuja plus draw 5 at that point. Alrighty, that's it for the monsters.
Yep. Now we're going to the spells, right?
Yep, starting with the spells, we have our 1 Emergency Teleport just to bring out the Dr. Frankenderp.
Shiny.
Very shiny. I'm actually trying to find all the ultimate rares for the cards that I can get ultimate rare, but slowly hunting those down. Now we're starting into the draw cards. We have 3 Beginning of the End. Pretty simple. As long as you have 7 dark monsters in your graveyard, you banish 5 of them to then draw 3 cards.
It's funny, the Glare is actually visualizing the art on camera.
Surprisingly, seeing the art, you normally can't, but I find that the ultimate rare shows the art the best, even without glare.
Yeah.
But basically, this was just a really good when it came in clutch because I had points. I'll show you a small little combo-ish with this card when you're stuck with 3 monsters in the grave and then 3 monsters on field, and you just need that 7th, right, to get there.
If you want, after we can actually do a different video for a combo.
Yeah, we can do that.
If you're down for that.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, cool. So 3 Beginning of the End.
3 Beginning. Then we have 3 Into the Void. This card is basically like your Upstart Goblin of the deck. As long as you have 3 cards, this itself can count as the 3rd card in your hand, just for ruling's sake, if you ever have to ask. This can be the 3rd card. It also draws you an extra card, and at the end phase, you discard your hand, but at that point, you don't care about that, because either what you have left over are cards like Brow, Beast, and extra dangers that can activate their effects when discarded, and you just need that extra draw 1, because I've noticed I've had hands where I got stuck with actually 3 Brows and 1 Tsuchinoko and this, and I just need to draw that extra card to make sure that when Tsuchinoko did get hit, I still had plays to keep going.
Neat.
Alright, next we have, let's see, 3 Allure Darkness. Our entire deck minus 1 monster is dark.
So 1 monster,
which I've saved for the end because it's the
it's the key card.
It's the key card. It's the win condition. Yeah. So Allure just helps you. It's pretty much your pot of greed at this point. And even when you banish off of this, you can then make Leviair during the combo, which then gets you to get your banish pile to keep making Saryujas and other cards.
Neat.
Alright, some 1-of spells. I have Card Destruction, Danger Response Team, Upstart Goblin, and Soul Charge.
So why... Sorry, I'll get Soul Charge. Why Response Team?
I played Danger Response Team because, for me, it was really good because it's an extra Akashic Magician. to a degree. Basically, you target one danger monster and then one monster on the field, and you return them back to the hand. And then what's great about that is once you've used up Akashic, or you can't get to Akashic because you've gone Saryuja first, drawing the response team is really good to bounce back the Grinder Golem to get more tokens and then go into the second Saryuja, or if you're trying to extra link your opponent. Its Grave effect is also really good. You get to discard one danger card and then put the response team at the bottom of your deck, and then you draw one card. So it helps you draw a card, it helps you bounce, lets you reuse your danger special summon effects, and I think the rest is pretty explanatory. Soul Charge is pretty much a win condition if you can't get to it.
No one wants to see that yet.
It's
Anyway.
fine. Soul Charge, and then Upstart is just the extra. To be honest, like I had a point where like the 1,000 didn't matter because I had enough damage to be able to attack over pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And then card destruction is just discard your hand, get more effects. Literally, I had a point where I had 5 or 6 chain links in the graveyard just because of one card destruction. Yeah. All right. Next up. Here's pretty much the win condition of the deck and the whole reason we play this. Yep. We play 1 Light Barrier and 1 Arcana Force 21 the World.
So you can actually make this card really consistently.
Yes, I can. Basically, the entire deck is meant to draw itself, so when you make your third Saryuja, you've already preset your Light Barrier, so you activate Light Barrier, and then you activate Saryuja's special summon effect, and then summon the world. What will happen now is you make Saryuja Chainlink 1, and then you make Arcana Force 21 the World Chainlink 2, because this card is from GX, it has a when effect, so it can miss timing if you try doing it a different way. If you like don't do your Chainlinks right. So that's why you have to make a Chainlink 2, so Light Barrier resolves, making it, you basically choose the coin flip, heads or tails, and the ones we want is the head effect, because during our end phase we send 2 monsters to the graveyard to then skip your opponent's turn. They don't get a draw phase, it auto skips their turn, so you go straight into your draw phase.
Neat.
So yeah, this is my favorite win condition.
Awesome. So that's it for your main deck.
That is my main deck. This is a 42 card main deck. You could cut out the Upstart Goblin, to be honest, and make it 41.
Yeah.
I find that 41 actually causes this deck not to brick anymore. I tried at 40 and I just happened to draw like 2 Jackalopes, 2 Tsuchinokos in the same hand, and when they hit it and I had to activate their effects, like I couldn't do anything afterwards. So it was a lot better to make this a 41 card deck due to the math of it. That one extra card actually like screws up all the 3-0s in the deck, and then you get to just like draw really consistent hands.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, cool. So let's go on to that extra deck.
Alright.
I'm gonna try to speak up because it's getting louder back here.
Because this is basically a Saryuja Turbo deck in its like depth. So we play 3 Saryuja Skull Dread. Again, 4 different monsters. You draw 4, you pick 1, you put 3 back.
Basically standard, right?
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
I've actually been able to pull off the combo just using 1 or even 2. Usually I would get to the 3rd one, but in some games I would just have that perfect of a hand to only have to go into 1 Saryuja Skull Dread.
Alright, cool.
Alright. Next, we have basically the Grinder Golem, like part of the extra deck. We have
the Grinder Engine.
Basically Akashic Magician, Link Spider, and Link Revo.
Neat.
Here, simple. You make 2. Akashic bounces the Grinder Golem back to hand, and then when you summon the 2 tokens, Link Revo then tributes 1 to then special summon itself under its zone. So you'll have 3 monsters already, and if you had E-Tully or Frankenderp, you can just special it and then draw a card and then go right into Saryuja.
Awesome.
Next, this is for my Thunder Dragon matchup, or just anything that has a pesky monster that can be targeted by effects. It is 1 Borolo Dragon. Again, I had a point where I stole someone's, what was it? I stole their Colossus actually off of this, and making their Titan lose 500 so I can then like attack over it. It was actually quite funny, I have to say. But Borolo does come in clutch sometimes, but this is only like your last resort if you've used up most of your extra deck.
Yeah.
Right. Next, for the, I guess, the recursion / control portion of the extra deck, we have 1 Levier the Sea Dragon. This helps a lot when it comes to like monster recursion, because you'll have a point, you've used up your allures, and let's say you banish the Brow, and you have, where's the
Brow and something else.
Let's say 1 Jack and 1 Suit.
Yeah.
On field. You'll make the Levier, and the thing is, you started with 2 monsters, and again, like when you detach 1 to then special this, you still have the 2 monsters, and what's great, you just put a Dark in the graveyard for beginning of the end, which then makes it much more consistent, because then you can just, you'll be able to draw your 3 cards, and then based on the dangers you have in your hand, or even like just special summon effects, you'll get the extra 2 monsters and then make into a Saryuja. So yeah. Next, we have basically what I told you guys what happened at Montreal. Was we have a Azathoth and
Sorry,
a Nyarla.
Yeah.
This is basically just to stop hand traps. Usually the only hand trap that stops this deck is Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird is the only reason this deck cannot function. I was even able to play through an Ash Blossom, 2 Impermanence, and a Ghost Bell, and I still got the combo. And it was all because of Azathoth, because what he was trying to do was like stop my Saryujas and stuff, and also like my search power. But what happened was he had a Multi-Faker in hand, and when he chained Impermanence, he was like, okay, activate Multi-Faker. And even though Azathoth wasn't on field, because it was XC summon, on its summon, like they cannot chain to this, is that basically no monster effects from your opponent can be activated for the rest of the turn. So this was a really good control factor for the deck, just so I could like make sure that my plays went through and through. Yeah. So next, just for token generation, we have one number 42 Galaxy Tomahawk.
Soon to get banned.
I don't know. That's the thing. Everyone says because of it, it should, but I rarely made a Tomahawk through the entire regionals and the tournament. Like, the only time I ever went into Tomahawk was, to be honest, get the 2 darks in the graveyard for beginning of the end, or to like bait out a hand trap. That was the only reason I would make it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of speculation about this card because of how much generation it can make. So
yeah.
It just really depends on how Konami decides what the fate of this card is.
It really does.
So yeah.
One cool thing about the world is when you send the 2 monsters to the graveyard, you can actually send Tomahawk's tokens as the material requirement. So that's actually really cool interaction. And then just for like. Just extra, what is it?
Monsters.
Kind of monsters control, and also just to make sure it's like. It's the case I can't do the combo, so I have to extra link instead.
Yeah.
I can go Nightmare Unicorn, basically the whole Nightmare package. We don't play the Ibli because there's no need to. Because I noticed when you play the Ibli, that you get to a point where you can't special summon your monsters because you've run out of links. So you have the 1 Unicorn, the 1 Sir, Phoenix, Mermaid, pretty standard. That's it for the extra deck, really. I'll show you later in the combo video why Unicorn is actually quite important to have in the extra deck for the combo. It's for when you're stuck with beginning of the end and only 3 monsters in the grave and 3 on field, you can actually get there with the 7th monster because Unicorn itself is a dark monster.
Oh yeah, that's right. Alright, let's go on to the side.
Alrighty. Side deck. To be honest, I'm still working on the side deck. It's not like definitive. Literally, the side deck is just based on the format. Like it's basically player's choice.
Yeah.
So alright, here we go. I play 3 Jolin Lockbird. This is mainly for the Sky Striker and Thunder Dragon matchup, and possibly Pendulum Magicians when you play it. It does slow them down, but this is mostly for the Striker matchup, or even for the Mirror match actually with Dangers. It just stops the deck entirely. They can't draw, and even if you even they can still summon themselves, but they just can't draw them anymore. So there's that. And then for pretty much for monster effects, since I don't own Impermanence, I play Effect Veiler.
This is another alternative. It's actually really good.
It's actually not bad, I have to say. Against my Sky Striker matchup, it actually came in clutch. I was playing Allures and beginning of the ends, and I just kept drawing into Veilers. Every time he went into Kagari, I activated an Effect Veiler on it, and he couldn't get back his engage. And he was actually quite pissed about that. But I happened to lose that match just because I wasn't drawing into my pieces. But I did win the match overall. But just having the Veiler actually helped, just so I could negate certain monster effects. Even if they summon Multi-Faker and tried activating its summon effect, you just Veiler it. And they can't bring out the Sequoias or the Meluseek.
Yeah.
This is for like big board disruption, to be honest. I'm actually thinking of changing things here. But we have 2 raw sphere modes and the 1 multi-dimensional kaiju. The reason we play the kaiju is because he's a dark monster for Allure and the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Sphere mode's more for those decks that just have, especially for like Thunder Dragon actually does not stop this deck. They can summon a they can summon a Colossus and have a Titan on field, and the Titan can only happen once per turn. So if they can't really hit the right card because they don't know what you're playing until the very end. So they usually try to stop like the combo piece. Like they'll pop the 1 Saryuja. You'll still get the effect, but they'll try to pop that or like anything else. The problem I had was I kept drawing the sphere mode and not the Raiden. So what I'm gonna do is probably cut the sphere modes for more Raidens. Just because it's dark. I'll probably keep one in, but I need to find at least have 2 or 3 Raidens for the allures in the beginning and the ends. And also, it's a level 7 monster, so you're able to go into Tomahawk also. So that's pretty much it. It was just monster disruption, but it's your choice, to be honest. I quite liked the sphere mode at some situations, but I noticed I bricked with it more just because it wasn't the right attribute. Alright, next, the spells in the deck. 3 Book of Eclipse, pretty much for the pesky monster effects, especially for like Thunder Dragon, Sky Striker, when they summon the Ray. What else? The Mirror, I suppose, and also just anything with a monster. Like, I had to go against True Draco once, and I was able to flip all their monsters face down. And what happened after that was, because he couldn't activate the effects anymore, especially for spells and traps, he just couldn't get rid of the monsters, so then I was just easily able to attack over them, and then Diagram doesn't affect them, for the can't be destroyed by battle once per turn, and all that. And I never got to the point where they had to draw cards off of it just because I was able to OTK them. Even if they did, like, I would have pulled off the world and then just like attacked again, so it didn't matter. And then for hand traps, just in case, I do side 2 Call by the Graves just because I've noticed during testing with Called, if you keep this in the main deck, there is a chance that they will hit this card on the danger effects, and you can't change the danger effects when they try to randomize it, especially when they choose it. So it was easier to have this sided for just like if they side Drolls, because I noticed the only decks that really main Droll and Lockbird are Prank Kids and Sky Strikers. Everything else just like every other hand trap doesn't really matter against you. So, that's it. And then the last card for when I went into time, this actually came in clutch at some point, was Gaga Cowboy. I was playing the Blaze Phoenix version in my side for time because it does more damage, especially when you go Soul Charge for the last Saryuja.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm still figuring out a way to make the Blaze Phoenix version work. It's just the problem with that, you have to play Fusion Gate, and then you have to play either just a Pyro type in the main deck, which is for me, I chose to do Pranked Lampsies because it's a Pyro level 3. And just with that, I don't know. Just depends. I'm still working with the side deck and the main, but so far the Arcana version seems like to be the more consistent version of Danger FTK, because I noticed with Slash Draw, you're forced to remember where you've put Slash Draw in your deck with Saryuja. When it comes to Arcana Force, you don't have to worry about that because you're drawing the entire deck just so you can summon it and activate its effect and then skip their turn, which is actually quite better because I noticed some people for the Slash Draw deck were actually citing a Hanawada or just like anti-burn cards. So just attacking for a game is actually quite easier. And even if they like, this was so crazy and weird. I was playing against Burning Abyss. He side decked Battle Fader against me. He negated my battle phase. Yeah, this was crazy. But because once you've resolved Arcana Force the World's Heads effect, it becomes that effect. So during my end phase, I was still able to like skip his turn, keep going, and just attack for a game.
Okay.
That's pretty much the deck. I'm sorry, a lot of theory and all, but
I got a question. Were there times where you actually like drew so much out of your deck that it costed you the game, like decking out?
I have decked myself out, but
like in tournament before?
Yeah, in tournament. It was during the Montreal Regionals. So I lost the game 2 because I decked myself out. But that was alright, just because, I don't know, we still had a game 3, like, funny enough, well, not funny enough, but, like, what's great about this deck, I suppose, is that I have pulled off the Arcana lock every single game 1, and I'm serious, every single game 1. Even my opponents made me go second, I was able to break their board and basically still resolve the effect. And like I said, even through, like, 3 hand traps, the only hand trap you don't want to face is Droll and Lockbird. Any other hand trap you can play around. I played against Thunder Dragons. I outed a Bell, an Ash, and an Impermanence, and still able to do the combo.
Nice. So yeah, that's pretty much it for your deck, right?
That's pretty much it.
Is there anything else you wanted to say about this deck profile? Anything you want to say to anyone out in the universe?
I apologize to everyone that I played with this deck because just watching them sit there and like not interact with the game is not fun. It really isn't fun. The only reason I chose to play this deck was to attempt getting my Nationals invite at Montreal and then at Toronto if the ban list doesn't screw me over. But yeah, even for myself, I did not enjoy playing this deck whatsoever. Like I used to play FTKs all the time. I played Magical Explosion. I played Exodia. I've played
Nurse Burn.
Like, Nurse is a little different because you actually have interaction to a degree. Like, they can easily red reboot you, but this you can't really stop. Because you can just, no matter how much you negate and stuff, like, it outs 3 to 4 negates, weirdly enough. But you just have to know what to hit. And if you're able to do this game 1 with winning the die roll, like, you're automatically getting this off, and then you just... Sometimes when it comes to time, you don't care about game 2 because you can just easily say, okay, I admit defeat to game 2 and just go straight to game 3 and just solitaire the entire time.
Yeah.
But for me, that isn't fun. Like, that's why, like, when Savage Strike comes out, I'm going to be playing Guard Dragon Pendulums, because that itself, it's a large combo. It makes 3 to 4, sometimes 5 negates, but it lets your opponent interact and play the game. Like, so that's all I really have to say about it.
All right. Any shout outs that you want to make?
Shout outs to Kyle, because he helped me get to Montreal Regionals in the first place when my friends couldn't. And then I have to... Biggest shout out is for the people who had helped me make this deck. Like, yeah, I had to pay, what was it, like, I literally only had to pay like $250 for this, for the entire Danger Core.
Canadian or US?
US. I'm actually from the States, from Washington, D.C. And so my friend had the entire Danger Core available, and he sold it to me for $180, pretty much, and then everything else I just had to slowly get, like the beginning of the ends and everything else.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it without my friends Adam, Jose, and Israel, and that was it, really.
Yeah, shout outs to the Americans, to the American squad. Alright, thank you so much, Javier, for the deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the deck profile, feel free to like, comment down below, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you like all the content I'm creating, check me out on Patreon. Just by donating a certain amount of money, you can help me make more content for you guys. But without any further ado, this is Kyle. Peace and out.
Welcome.